wasn't the first here, but from what I understand, the plumber attended and said it was coming from the supply line. All I know for now is they shut it off. Knowing it came from this is clean water. Well, the first thing that we've been doing is extracting. That's to mitigate, to set up equipment, just start the drying process as quick as we can.
I think there was at least 1 to 2 inches of standing water kind of throughout those 4 units. We had like 4 extractors going the first night. We had probably about 8 guys on site, you know, extracting, working through the night, just trying to get the water out. So it turned out it was a supply line to a toilet in a dental office, one of the commercial units, and then it moved laterally in 2 units on either side. There was a massage studio, as well as a hair salon, and a Montessori, unfortunately, was affected.
Extracted all the water. There still is a little bit of standing water in a few little spots, but that will all evaporate. The drywall's like a sponge, so once it gets wet, it just wicks right up the wall, and it's already gone up almost a foot. Tomorrow we're going to start doing some investigating, removing some baseboards, pushing air up into the exterior walls, just trying to get the drying process happening. Tonight we will have to take asbestos samples on the walls before we can start cutting. We're going to put them in for a rush, and hopefully we'll have the answer by tomorrow, and then we can proceed with some small demo. So it also came into a daycare unit as well. This one had quite a bit of water, so we've been extracting the carpet, all the tiles. Now we're setting up bigger axial fans for more air movement. Lots of fans, lots of dehumidification. We actually had to install an extra power panel because we're running out of power.
Power issues. They don't make it like the States where you got 20 amp breakers. Here we're limited by 15s.
There's a power consumption issue that just not able to draw enough from the outlets in the space. So oftentimes what we need to do is bring in a panel box. The equipment was there, kind of got shifted. You know, we only had so much power even with the panel. So we were able to kind of dry one area and then with the equipment dry the other area. So.
I'm concerned on exterior walls right now, looking for any kind of insulation, double drywall, vapor barriers, anything that can trap the moisture. After quite some time of everything running, you can feel it in the air that it's not as humid. So we also had all the doors opened up so we could burp out all the humidity out of the area. So it's starting to feel a lot drier already. Everywhere we have air movement, humidification, all walls are marked out.
So you've got an umbrella strata insurance policy that covers the entire building, the commercial residential units. There's the strata, there's a rental manager, and there's the actual dental office itself. So when all those parties are involved, there's adjusters involved. So the next couple of days is just trying to figure out who's responsible for what and drying what and what gets paid for and what doesn't. So some other restoration vendors came in. We had to figure out who was doing what. In the end, we ended up, for the dental office, ended up doing the whole project, start to finish. We did the emergency and the final repairs through the dental office's insurance. I think we finished the emergency in about 3 weeks by the time everything was said and done. There's obviously considerations with businesses too that you have to think about, that they need to operate during the day. So you try and accommodate them as much as you can. You try and do work in the evenings. If you have equipment running, you perhaps set it up for the evening and then you come in the morning and remove it, let them operate for the day. Come back at the end of the day, set the equipment back up. The commercial businesses are heavily impacted by any disruptions. It's hard to run a oftentimes small business. The strata residents don't want to be disrupted in the evenings because they're at home. So you kind of have this overlap of like the people who live in the building upstairs don't want any disruptions in the evenings because they're home enjoying their personal space, and the businesses don't want any work done during the day because they're trying to operate and make revenue. So it's tough, and you got to consider everyone's, best interests at heart and try and figure out the best way to navigate the situation. So we're familiar with it. We work with property managers all the time. That's what we do. So we try and assist them and help them through the process. And I think this was one of those cases where we did.
Friday, we got the approval from the insurance adjuster to go ahead to do all the upgrades, all the betterments of the unit. So not just the exterior walls, basically everything. We stayed probably till about 9:30 at night trying to get everything done as much as we could just to be able to have them open on Monday. Been run all weekend. And so when we came back yesterday, there was a few things that needed to be done, but for the better part, everything was dried out. We removed all the cove base, drilled some holes behind the cove base just to see if there's any water in the tracks. Removed a lot of baseboards, which helped because they're magnets so that we can actually get air movement underneath. Drilled a lot of cabinetry just so we can get some more air movement underneath.
In a commercial unit, pretty much everything is a tenant improvement. Your carpet, depending on if you've built internal walls, especially in a dental office, you have to build a number of operatories. So each operatory probably has a drywall separation. So those are all tenant improvements. Any cabinetry that would be installed in those operatories is also tenant improvements. Potentially if you've added additional washrooms or additional fixtures, things like that. So
they're working in the back hallway right now just to get the remaining wet drywall and insulation. And after that, we're just going to move over to the next unit. Well, over the holidays, we're just going to let all the equipment run and dry, right? As much as it can, just let the equipment do its work. And when we come back in the new year, I'll be able to see how things are.
there's a fireboarding process going on. You can see us putting the board in, ensuring the edges are properly taped. Basically, this entire wall, the entire length of the unit requiring fireboarding.